So we had quite the fun Sunday night football game against the Cowboys and the Vikings. It was a very exciting game. There's a lot of things we could talk about, but I will be making this video on Kirk Cousins because I feel like this season has been such an interesting ride to watch Kirk Cousins. He really kind of struggled and hit an all-time low in the first third of the season. I mean, he had that game where he only threw the ball 10 times in week 1. He didn't play particularly well against the Packers or the Raiders, even though they won against the Raiders. And then the Bears, he once again had a lackluster performance. However, since then, he's been playing some very good football. And I thought that even though the bulk stats weren't necessarily there this past game, he still played pretty well and even completed 71.9% of his passes. Now, completion percentage, of course, is far from a perfect stat. I mean, there's a lot of variables that go into having a high completion percentage, but I did feel like Cousins was just making his throws all game long, and it really helped the Vikings. Especially on some third down situations. Like this one, it's going to be man coverage, and it's a 3rd down and 5, so obviously you need to pick up 5 yards here. And so the route that Cousins is going to look to throw to will be that route right there. For one thing, it's going to go to Diggs, and obviously with Thielen out, Diggs is his clear number 1 target on this play, but it's also just a good route against man coverage, so that is where Cousins is going to look to throw this ball to. And after the ball is snapped, if you notice, right when Diggs is getting ready to cut to the outside, he's open here. I mean, he is absolutely in a position where he could potentially make this catch. Cousins just has to make a good throw and allow Diggs to not just make the catch, but run past the first down marker, because as of right now, he is not past the first down marker. But really what's important here is exactly where the throw is going to be. Watch how this throw is in a perfect spot where Diggs can make the catch and then run and get as many yards as possible. If he makes a throw in a way where Diggs is able to make the catch but maybe can't run that far, he might not get the first down. I mean, I think it's still a good chance he does. Diggs was pretty open, but either way, Cousins just put it in a perfect spot and allowed Diggs to get as many yards as possible. I kind of feel like that's what Cousins was doing. I mean, the reality is Cousins is an accurate quarterback, and it can be very beneficial and can really come through in key moments. And watch, this one's another one. This time it's going to be a 3rd down and 4 situation, and once again it will be man coverage. However, this time a little bit different. Instead of the cover 2 man that they ran last time, this is going to be a cover 1 blitz. Meaning for Cousins, he doesn't have a ton of time to make this throw off, but at the same time, he's not really too concerned about that. He has a receiver running that route right there, which is a route he likes against this coverage, and yeah, pressure will come quickly, but at the same time, he's going to get the ball off quickly anyways, so he's not really too concerned about that. I personally don't love playing man coverage or blitzing on a situation like this, a 3rd down and 4. I usually like to play zone here, or maybe man coverage every now and then just to mix it up, but this is kind of what Dallas did, and I'm not sure if it's totally something I would do, but it's what they're doing, so, take advantage. And as you see, Cousins' receiver, well, there's going to be some separation. I mean, this is far from wide open, however, there definitely is a window where Cousins can potentially make this throw. But he is going to hit that window. It's just a perfectly accurate pass. You couldn't ask for anything better. And it also got there quickly. And that allowed them to pick up another first down. And that's what you want out of your quarterback, That's why you give Kirk Cousins the big contract, to make those throws. And honestly, after those first 4 games, he kind of has been playing like he's worth a big contract, honestly. Because, I mean, that's, of course, the whole thing of Cousins. He's never been a bad quarterback, but there's just been some talk of, is he worth a big contract? And a lot of people say no, and for a good reason. I mean, there's definitely been games where he just hasn't shown up, but at the same time, this season, there's just something that feels different. I don't really know exactly what it is. I think it might just be coaching. I also think it might be just confidence. I'll get into that in a second, but I just feel like Cousins is playing a really high quality of football, and it's really showing on the field. And it also came down to, in the red zone, I thought he played very well. Like, on a play like this, what's going to happen is it's going to be play action because, of course, Dallas is expecting a running play. When you have a team in Minnesota who runs the ball so well on a 2nd down and goal at the 1, you are often expecting a run, and so sometimes that's the best time to run play action, which is what they're going to do. They're going to run play action, and then it'll be their fullback running up to the top half of the screen. That'll be Cousins' first read on this play. However, after Cousins fakes the handoff and runs up to the top half of the screen to try to hit his fullback, he's not really open. So Cousins, while he wanted to hit him, now can't and now has to look for something else. So his second option is Kyle Rudolph, who is signaling that he's open. He looks wide open, but keep in mind, it's not actually as open as it looks because of Sean Lee right there, who's kind of in the way. So while Rudolph is beating his own man, this is actually going to be very tight coverage, and really, Cousins has to throw this one high enough to get it over Sean Lee on this play, but also not too high because then it'll be incomplete. Obviously, an incomplete pass is nowhere near as bad as an interception, so still make sure you get the ball up no matter what, but you really would like to get the touchdown here. And again, that's what's going to happen. Watch this throw. And first off, watch how he makes the throw. Sort of a jump pass type thing, which I'm not really sure he had to do that, but at the same time, it worked. So whatever works. Personally, I think I would have rather him get his feet square and then make a more accurate throw that way, but he was under pressure, so it was kind of a tough situation, a little bit of an awkward situation. I think he still had time to get his, feet planted in a better way, but at the same time, I'm not going to criticize a guy for throwing a touchdown. You throw a touchdown, it's a good play. I don't care how you do it. I'm not going to nitpick the footwork on a touchdown pass. He got a touchdown pass, and it was a great throw, so the fact that he can make those athletic plays really does come in handy. And there was also this play, which was almost the exact same situation. This time it's a 3rd down and goal, but Minnesota says, hey, it worked once already, so let's try it again. We're going to run play action, have our fullback go up to the top half of the screen, and then also Kyle Rudolph, he'll run about to the top half of the screen, and hopefully, it can work out like it did last time. Why not? And the first thing you notice with Cousins is watch his footwork on this one. Watch how he doesn't have to worry about any jump pass or anything on this one. He makes sure he gets his feet square, which tells me that somebody in that Minnesota Vikings coaching staff said, hey, Cousins, great play, good touchdown, but get your feet planted a little bit better next time. Get your shoulders square. Good play, but let's work on that a little bit. And he immediately worked on it because, his feet are in great position right now. And so now he has to make a throw. And if you look at his 2 options, neither guy is wide open. It's actually kind of, a push. You could kind of argue either option would be the better one on this one, but if you're not exactly sure who you should throw it to, a fullback or a tight end, you might as well just give it to the tight end because, he's someone who's more used to catching a pass. So you throw it to the guy you trust more. You throw it to the matchup you like better. That's what Cousins is going to do. And, for good reason. Cousins, again, perfect throw. He really was just perfect all night. Kyle Rudolph makes a good play, and they're able to get Kyle Rudolph his 2nd touchdown, and also Kirk Cousins his 2nd touchdown. And that's kind of what Kirk Cousins was like for a large part of the game. It's just making those accurate throws. You don't necessarily have to be making 50-yard bombs down the field. Yes, those are fun, but, I'm more impressed when a guy can more consistently just make the solid throws. And that's what Cousins really was against the Dallas Cowboys, was just he was consistent, and that's what you have to do. Even on this play, the play before it, I thought was huge, where it's going to be play action to the bottom half of the screen, of course, Minnesota, why not run a lot of play action when you have so much success running the ball with Dalvin Cook? It just makes sense. And after he fakes the handoff and runs up to the top half of the screen, there definitely is a solid window where Cousins can make this throw. However, the problem, of course, for Cousins is that you're on the run and trying to make a throw, and you're not really concerned about the completion. You should make a completion here, but ideally you don't want your tight end to have to, focus on catching the ball and then trying to turn around and try to get the first down. You want it to be all in one motion, kind of. You want to make things easier on your player, and so the accuracy of this pass really does matter, and that's a good thing for the Vikings because Kirk Cousins made a perfectly accurate pass. That just allows him to pick up that many more yards, and the more accurate you are on those passes, the more yards you will get, and then the more points you will score, because that's kind of what the quarterback position is all about. It's just putting the ball in the right spot, and it seemed like just every pass, for the most part, with the exception of a few, Kirk Cousins was making some very good throws. So yeah, those short to medium range throws, that's what I want to see out of Kirk Cousins. Is, he's kind of gotten the game manager thing put on him, but being a good game manager is actually incredibly difficult to do. Making those solid short to medium range throws accurately is, I would totally pay a quarterback, top 5 quarterback money if you can do that consistently. If the Vikings got good Kirk Cousins every game, they wouldn't be complaining about the contract whatsoever. It'd be totally fair. The problem, of course, has been his consistency, but lately in this season, he has not had that problem, and even in a primetime game where he historically struggles, he has not struggled. And one thing that I really do like that I feel like he's done differently is he's playing with confidence. And I don't mean confidence in himself, I mean confidence in other players. This is kind of why Case Keenum was able to have so much success with the Vikings, was he would throw up a bunch of jump balls to Diggs and Thielen, and they would bail him out, essentially. Well, sometimes let your great players make great plays. It's something I've been talking a lot about, and I feel like he's been doing that more and more recently, and no better example of that than this play, where there's 41 seconds left, you're at midfield, and it's a 3rd down and 3. So if you don't get the conversion here, you probably have to punt, and you're probably going into halftime tied 14-14. Not the end of the world, but you would like to get some points on the board here. So for Dallas, they're going to play a cover 1 man. Again, man coverage, what they like to do. I like this one a little bit better because you have a player covering the middle of the field, but for Minnesota, they know there's been a lot of cover one man coverages, so what they're going to do is have Diggs on the top half of the screen run a go route. It's kind of a high risk, high reward type situation, but you know what? When you have Diggs in a one-on-one matchup, sometimes it's worth it to just throw one up and see if he can help you out here. So for Cousins, that's what he's going to do. Takes a shot back, takes a shot towards Diggs, and Diggs makes an unbelievable catch to get the ball in field goal range. And I know a lot of people are going to say, well, that's not really a great play by Cousins. I mean, that's him getting bailed out by Diggs, kind of. But that's kind of my point, actually, is that Diggs will bail you out. Diggs will bail you out a lot, so throw the ball up to Diggs to allow him to make a great play. I mean, what's the point of having a great player if you don't sometimes hope for them to make a great play? That's what I've been wanting to see from Cousins more and more, and he's been doing it more and more, and it really is a huge reason why he has improved in the later games so far of the season. I mean, the reality is his numbers are starting to get really good. I mean, 18 touchdowns to just 3 interceptions, that'll get it done. He currently has a passer rating of 112 for the season, which is very high, which is also pretty crazy considering he does have a game where he only had a 52 passer rating in it. Again, I know numbers don't tell the whole story, but I feel like Cousins has played a lot better recently, and it has been interesting sort of just to watch him throughout the course of this season. He's never been a bad quarterback. He's actually always been a good quarterback, but there definitely was times early on in the season where it looked like he was just struggling. It looked like he just could not figure out certain defenses. However, they've turned it around, and they've turned it around in a big way. I'm not sure if there's any quarterback who's gotten more heat than Cousins so far in an NFL career that's undeserved. I mean, the only real reason he gets so much heat that he does get is just the contract. That's really all it comes down to. But at the end of the day, I mean, just looking at it, the Vikings are currently 7-3. They have an absolute chance to win their division, although the Packers are not going to just give it to them. But even if they don't, they're certainly built for a playoff run, and we've seen them make playoff runs before, so I'm interested to see what'll happen. And I mean, I know the Vikings can seemingly never have nice things, but at least so far things are looking pretty good, and things are definitely looking up. But again, we'll have to see. They are the Vikings. But yeah, that's what I thought of Kirk Cousins' performance on Sunday Night Football. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and as always, thanks for watching.